Okay, welcome everybody. And just had one of those moments where I was chatting away and giving this presentation and realized I was on mute the whole time. So we'll try this again. Just one of those days, and you know it's a Friday when. So we'll give this another try. You guys can actually hear what I'm talking about. Always good. Okay, so we are diving in today about looking at taking this idea of the cleanse and the great Ayurvedic tips that we get from this and taking it beyond the spring cleanse. And what does that mean? What can that mean for you in terms of that? And what kind of that partnership is when you're using particularly the doTERRA products that we're using in our spring cleanse and how that can impact your life in different ways. Okay. And with doTERRA, I typically tend to work with three different types of people, right? One is the client who just needs the support. They just need like some physical help, whether it's out of pain or gut health or something like that, and or helping for their family. And this is just going to make such a huge difference for them, and that's incredible. I love to see this. The second type of person loves to, as you've probably been like listening through some of these our classes this week and the different things that we do on our in our group. It's like, oh, so and so, my girlfriend needs this, and my aunt needs this, and my cousin and my uncle needed this over here, or that my yoga students they need this over here, all those kind of things, right? And you can't help almost naturally, but naturally share them because they work so well. There's always a few products, I know, but typically that Deep Blue for me is one, the Tap Tip is another one, Serenity, that you just can't keep to yourself, right? It's just like this has been life changing for me, and so there's a way that you can, get rewarded for that, right? We want to appreciate that sharing. And then there's another type of person who is like, yeah, this is incredible. I love this ancient wisdom. I love these natural tools that can make a difference in so many people's lives. And I want to learn more about how I can increase that impact and make that difference for people, right? And be that element of change in the world, which is so needed, right? And so supported. We've got some great tools. It's just a matter of how do we get the message out there, right? Okay, so let's just chat about, first of all, if this is you that you want to just like, I just need this in my life right now. I've got some things I'm dealing with. That is what I'm capable of, and that is what I'm needing. That's perfect. We have some really good supports. We have what we call a live guide that kind of walks you through how to use a lot of the basics, how to incorporate them into your healthy habits. And that's what I love to do. This is what the spring cleanse actually does: is we live them and we walk them through in these really healthy habits, and we're able to see both the Ayurvedic things and the essential oils and some yoga, some mindfulness. We're putting it all together to create that whole picture. So that's what I love about that aspect of our spring cleanse. And we've got lots of great team resources as well. If you're on the Flourish team, we've got lots of great resources so that even after the cleanse, you've got great support for knowing how to use what's in your cupboard and knowing what to reach for when you need something, right? That's super important. And then also know that each time you buy a bottle of doTERRA essential oils or one of their products, you're actually supporting not just yourself, but you're supporting others in the world, right? So doTERRA's philosophy on um, where they get their oils from, is to help the most people in the world. And it really links. It kind of became a synergy. Wasn't didn't like that wasn't a set out strategy at the beginning, but it became a strategy because where they were finding these top quality essential oils were in places in the world that needed some financial assistance, right? So these oils are typically grown in areas that aren't already flooded with chemicals, and they are more close to a natural state of living in these conditions in these areas, which is that quality we want to bring into the oils. We want to have the fewest amount of or zero chemicals, and that is close to that as we can get within that. The other aspect of this is that the essential oil world is extremely corrupt. It is big business, and there are so many growers that doTERRA went to work with when they signed with their products. It's like, you've got great products, and well, I don't think I can do this anymore. It's not sustainable as a business because I didn't get paid for the last 3 years from the person I was selling my oils to, and that's just not acceptable in our world, and that's not a practice that we want to continue on. So doTERRA is changing the face of how that works. And farmers are actually get to I got to see this firsthand when I was in Nepal. The ladies were carrying these great big baskets of the leaves and the branches of the wintergreen down to the distillery. And as soon as they deposit it, it gets weighed right there, and it's like a phone to phone transaction that they're getting paid. So there's no waiting 3 months. There's no waiting till the after the harvest season when they get it's just an instant payment. So that really makes it a difference in how they can live their lives in that regard, right? And having that certainty of income coming in. And there's just so many stories about this. The frankincense story and how they've really changed in Somalia, how they are not over harvesting their plants, how they're getting paid for the quality that they get. And actually, this one is kind of a neat story. I'll just go a little sidetrack on this one. In in a lot of the frankincense comes from Somaliland, and the trees there were getting over harvested because the farmers aren't being paid a fair price for it, right? They're getting paid just the basic whatever a frankincense resin is, and there's quite a bit of difference in terms of frankincense resin between the lower qualities and the higher qualities. So doTERRA went in and got the tribes to actually work together, and formed a community within there, and they helped them build, gave them the microloan over to build a sorting shed so they can sort their grades in right in their communities. And then this provides jobs for the women, so they don't have to go to town and have other jobs. They can like stay there with their families and supporting right where they're living, and they're seeing the difference in the oil and the difference in qualities. And doTERRA purchases all the high quality, and then the mid and low grades are being sent off, but they're getting paid for a mid and low grade and a high grade from doTERRA instead of just being paid a low grade for everything. And so this encourages them to support getting the higher grades in there and support sustainable harvesting of the trees. doTERRA is also partnered with another organization that's teaching them sustainable harvesting techniques, and they're helping to build hospitals, communities, whatever, or schools, whatever is needed in their community. They're serving on that level as well. So it's just such a great, every time you're buying a product, and it's not just frankincense, there's so many of them that have these wonderful stories behind the bottle and these ways that we're helping in so many different ways. Okay. So that's if you're just buying the oils for yourself and you have no interest in sharing them, it's just a personal thing, that is totally fine. Know that you are making a difference beyond simply that purchase for yourself. It extends far beyond that with doTERRA. So the other aspect is if you do have others that it's like, I can't keep a secret, I want to share with some people. How do I do that? We have some great supports on how do we do it. We can host a class together. We can just do one-on-one mental wellness consultations together. And I love, going back to that first person, the other aspect of the support that you give, not to forget about this, is I love to support with classes and chatting about oils and getting together and doing that. So my number one favorite things to do. So we love to support our customers by doing that, having that wellness consult and doing that within that. And we have a whole team set of resources to use to know how to use them beyond the cleanse, right? And then the same thing with sharing. It's a great time to just kind of get together with a girlfriend, do that. Or if you'd like to host a class, we have a great little hostess. You get a little class keychain and you get to fill it up. Some of my clients love to do that where they fill it up with like all their hiking oils. So they have a little thing to take with them hiking, or it might be some unique oils that they don't get a chance to get. And so you can kind of have some of those things, or just like those top oils that you want to have in your purse on the go all the time, right? So there's some options on that. And then two, you can choose whether you want to, um, you know, earn money back for sharing them, or whether you want to just get product back. So sometimes it's like, I don't want any other commitment, I just want to have product back. And we have great ways of being able to do that, to get some free things within there, all the way up even to getting like a rose essential oil for free. That's always one that I save my points for doing that one. It's hard to spend that much on one oil. It's so worth it when you have it, but it's nice if you can be gifted to you instead. Right, so there's some options on how to share and how to be compensated, right? It's all about fair compensation within that. And then two, if you want to make a bigger impact. So perhaps you just love sharing and you love this message, or you have something that's near and dear to your heart that you want to make a difference for. So for me, it's that teen mental health. I want to make a difference in that area. It's pain management. And then plus I also have on the side where I have a wellness business, right? Where I teach yoga and I do yoga health coaching. And it's just an incredible thing for my clients. And it's a great way to kind of link arms with others, and supporting the broader alternative wellness community in that regard. So if that is some of your whys, or some of your, like, yeah, I really want to, or perhaps, in the world circumstances, your job has changed, or you're not liking your job, and you want to make a difference and have a different, source of income coming in, then this is a great way to do that as well. And so what that looks like, for kind of all those three types of people, um, is, partnering with doTERRA. You're really partnering, partly with myself, but not really, right? You're partnering with the owners of the company. And so their decisions impact you, and they're very cognizant of that. And they are a debt-free company, which is pretty unique in this world. They have zero debt, they have zero creditors. It is not one person at the top, it's a whole collective group. There's seven owners of the company. And so there's a really balanced decision making, and they consider a lot of things when they're making their decisions, which is nice. They have a beautiful serving mentality, so you're tapping into that as well. They are not very many years old. I think they're like 14 years old now, but they are now the largest company in the world. And they could say that after 10 years. So they have just grown exponentially because of the quality of their product, and because they do really give back, right, to the people that they work with, the oils that we get to use, and their advocates, we call it, the people that are out there, promoting them and helping to share the word to the world of these great products, right? They are used by doctors. We actually have, and hospitals. We actually, on the verge, we have their first oil. Lavender has actually been approved as, having, tested, proven and tested, results from. So it can be used in a broader sense. And so we're on that road of getting them the quality in place, that it's a consistent quality that comes in. It's not, doesn't depend on the harvest. They've got things in place to bring it in, well, okay, so going in deeper to explain that, in the lavender, we source our lavender from several different areas. So a harvest in one area isn't going to impact the chemistry of the whole blend, right? It'll impact it somewhat, but not the whole blend. And so that creates consistent results. And so when we do research trials, we can get consistent results from that. And now we're able to use them more effectively, on a more, we know what the result is going to be from that. And so this has opened up a whole new world for doTERRA to be certified pharmaceutical grade instead of just proven and tested grade. So that's exciting. And so we're going to have more and more of these oils coming out, in the future as we go through this. So doTERRA is committed to making this mainstream, essentially, to putting there's the early adopters that have used them. Is like, I know this works, and it doesn't matter to me what's behind it. I'm going to use it because it works. And then having all of that research coming into place. So that's really exciting to be able to come on the verge of that. It's going to be changing the essential oil world in a huge way. Pardon me, got something in my throat there. And yeah, and everything is ethically sourced. We've talked about that. And yeah, and the compensation plan. So some people call this I'm going to flip through. Oh, we'll come into that. So some people call the compensation plan the the best product that doTERRA has, but we'll come to that in a moment. And so the questions you might have with this are, well, what is the possibility for making money? What does that look like? How much time is involved? What do I need to commit to this? And is this going to work for me, or is it only for people that are really outgoing? And I'm like the quietest person. You might not see it here in these videos, but I'm like a really quiet, shy person. And so if it can work for me, it can work for just about anybody on that regard, right? And so what is the next step, right? So what would that look like in terms of how do I get started, right? And it's really simple. Like, the oils literally sell themselves as a product because they work, right? Because they are so amazing to have, right? Just walking around wearing your oils is like, oh, you smell so good all the time. I get that all the time, right? I sample the oils. Typically, I like to sample them in my yoga classes and things that I'm working with on that regard, but you can also sample them to friends. You can be doing wellness fairs. There's different ways you can make this model work for you. It just depends on what your lifestyle looks like, and what your business, your current businesses look like, and what that opportunity is. And we simply tell people how to use them, right? We just share, we just educate people what we love to do after we've encouraged someone to try something, and then we get them to get their own membership, right? A wholesale membership is so empowering to have that, in all of the different benefits that you get, the points back that you get, and the ability to just like dial something up and get it immediately is so super handy. And then just that ongoing support of like what's going on in your life, and because we change, right? Sometimes we'll need different things, and sometimes we'll be using things in different ways. And so that's the other option. And this is why doTERRA has built this as their business model. They could absolutely have put this out there and be in every Trader Joe's and every wholesale, um, you know, Whole Foods kind of store out there, but they've decided that they want people to have one-on-one support, to know how to use their oils, and just have a different level of support. So we're using them safely, and we're just have that person to connect with. Community is everything. It's so important, right? Okay, so this is what that would look like. This is kind of like the big grand scale. There's a lot of detail on this map, and I'm not going to go into all of it. But basically, you have kind of three levels of playing within the arena. And first is just paying for your product, or just sharing it with your friends, your family. Maybe host a class, or sharing it with your clients. And it's just you coming in from that on a simple basis. And so that's the first level of bringing that in, and that typically looks like about 200 to 1,000 kind of thing, a month, if what the revenue comes in. And that you can get to that level depending on how you're operating within. Some people it's a month that they will get to that point, and some people it could be a year kind of time frame on that. The other one is to supplement your incomes. Maybe you have another full-time job, maybe you're a full-time mom, you don't have a lot of time to spend on this. You don't need to like change the world in a whole big way, but you do want to make an impact, and you do see the benefit of that, for working with people, right? And so it's just putting a little bit more time and effort into it, and then you can supplement your income from. And I see this as kind of like the 1,000 to even up to the $10,000 a month type range. And then there's people that, once you get to that stage, it's like, yeah, this is, I've got a mission. I'm going to help change this. And you've got the systems down. It's not rocket science. It's pretty easy to share, and follow up. It's just, being there for people is what it is. And once you've kind of got that confidence within you type thing, you might decide that, yeah, I want to make this bigger. I have a big why. Like I, really want to make an impact on mental health, or for seniors, or for prenatal care, or just people feeling fabulous beyond 50 years old, or whatever that might be for you. Then you can take that to another level, and this kind of gets you almost like a seat at the table, almost in terms of what doTERRA is doing, and you can make quite significant amounts of money at that point. And it's not necessarily about the money for most people in doTERRA. It's about what's the impact, who am I helping, and who am I serving. That is kind of who tends to do well. We're tend to be more the heart-centered people that are involved in this, which is lovely to work with. The other aspect that I love about the doTERRA or doing doTERRA as a business, is being able to work with others and supporting others in business. Right. And it is quite beautiful the way that doTERRA has structured their compensation to make this at the forefront. So I do better when my colleagues do better, right? And so that's the impact. It's very much an encouraging and supporting each other role within this. Okay, so if you just want to have your oils to pay for, it looks like that time commitment looks like about 3 to 10 hours a week type thing. Supplementing your income will look more like 10 to 20, looks like a part-time job. And then replacing your income would be more like a 20 to 30 hours a week. And as you're getting started, it might be bigger than that kind of coming, but we encouraging the whole, idea behind this is to have that freedom lifestyle so that you're not chained to your desk. And that's why it's great that customers can make their own orders and things like that, that just helps everybody, kind of empowers everybody within the system. And could this work for me? Right? So the first thing is just, do you love your oils? Right? Do you use them? Do you love your oils? Is this for you? If you're not using oils, it's probably not the right place for you, right? But if you do love your oils, it's just naturally that we share them going forward, right? Do you like people? Do you love interacting? Do you love having that community connection with people? And are you able to just like follow up with people and, follow a system. doTERRA, it's a beautiful time to work with doTERRA because there's been so many resources created that it is really easy to share with people, and everything is kind of at your fingertips, and it's a um, nice simple way to support the people in your life. And then what's the next step? Right. So if you are already a wholesale member, you can simply, there's no extra fee. There's nothing that you need to do to step into the extra rewards. Or if you're a wholesale customer and you don't necessarily want to get the income back every month, but I do want to share and get some of those free products, it's a matter of reaching out to your upline for that, and or reaching out to the person who enrolled you and kind of got you started, or kind of giving me a message on that, and I can help you with that as well. And it's just, voicing that. And if you want to get paid money for it, it's upgrading your account. It's just a simple click of the button. And that way, doTERRA, you do have to put your social insurance number in so doTERRA can pay you. And then the money just comes into your account every month. They actually pay several times a month. So they pay for different bonuses and types of things. They're paying right away on that for us on our side as well, which is kind of nice. And if you haven't got started yet, if you haven't started your oils, choose a kit. So the first thing to do is like get some oils. And when you choose a kit, you can either choose to do that as a wholesale customer to start off with, and then upgrade to wellness advocate later, which again does not cost anything. That's just a simple click of the button. Or you can say, yeah, I'm going to do this. And so it started as a wholesale advocate, and we get you started on that path right away. But the first thing is to get some oils and just put them on you and to try them and just to start learning about the product, right? Because that's because they can do so much right within us. So there's the different ways that you can be involved in that. And here's just a little quote to end off on this note. This is from Dr. Nicole Seasons, and this is from something I jotted down at the last convention that I went to. And our conventions at doTERRA, it's not about the big shiny cars. It's not about anybody boasting about how well they're doing. It is all about where we're serving in the world and the research and that's going on, and all of those different opportunities and what's kind of coming in. It is a big learning opportunity. So if you're like a learner type of person like me, it's fun. You get lots of new information and great information on that. So Dr. Nicole Stevens is one of the members of the board, and she, during one of her presentations, she made this comment that I kind of jotted down. We grew up with plants. We evolved with plants. Our bodies were made to recognize the signal. Right. And I think that just says so much on so many different levels, whether that is through Ayurveda, all the things that we do with that, through our essential oils, and just this whole attitude of awareness and becoming more in tune with the world around us. And this is such a beautiful way to do that. All right. I hope this was helpful. I hope you are intrigued by this. And if you are, just send me a message and say, hey, I want to know more about that. And we can get together for a chat and look at what that might look like for you. It's another area. Not only do I love to sit down and chat oils and figure out what's going on, it's kind of like my engineering problem solving brain. I also love to create business maps and systems for people and help them on that regard. And so that's the other aspect that you get from that is my brain behind your business, and it's so much fun when you have someone to do that work and to create that with. All right, well, this was enjoyable, and look forward to hearing from you.